In your 2008 article, Working with People Who Stutter of Diverse Cultural Backgrounds, you used the term cultural ingredients. And I like that idea, noting that every one of us grows up surrounded by different routines, languages, values, beliefs, and so on, and that these are what shape us.
Right.
People who stutter come obviously from a range of backgrounds as well.
Yeah.
What are some recommendations that you would give to speech pathologists who are working with individuals with very different cultural ingredients than their own?
So I like to always say that whenever you take a person-centered approach to therapy, you can never go wrong. Because with a person-centered approach, you're learning about the individualized needs of the person who stutters, and that can include the cultural background that they come from. So some people who stutter may come from backgrounds where stuttering or maybe even having a disability is very, very, very stigmatized. Some people may come from backgrounds where talking about how you feel is not something that they typically do. So for some people, we may have to take time. I mean, counseling and talking to people about their feelings is a part of the evaluation and the therapeutic process, but that may take some time for people who stutter who come from backgrounds where talking about how you feel is not something that is a common practice, or things like disclosure. So in stuttering therapy, we often talk about disclosure. It's a statement that you make to other people, letting them know that you are a person who stutters. Or sometimes in therapy, we do things like open stutter. So open stuttering is where we have the person to stutter with no avoidance strategies or techniques. But if you come from a cultural background where disability is very stigmatized, where stuttering is very stigmatized, or being open about who you are is very stigmatized, that process just has to evolve differently for people who are not used to being open about themselves, or where being open about their stuttering may have a lot of negative consequences. So we may definitely talk about those things in therapy, and maybe we might practice those things in environments where the person feels safe to do so. But how that evolves for any individual person is going to look very, very different. So we shouldn't just assume that all people who stutter are going to get disclosure right away, or that they're going to get voluntary stuttering or open stuttering right away. It may take some time depending on the background. Some people, families may have different views about etiologies of stuttering and why people stutter. There may be all kinds of, beliefs, cultural beliefs, folk beliefs about why people stutter. And so you may have to spend some time talking with families or talking with the person about what we know from science that causes stuttering and why people stutter. And the way to do that is, I think, through the therapeutic relationship and through discussions around stuttering. So I think people will reveal things about themselves, and they'll reveal things about their culture sometimes over time. But I think when that therapeutic relationship, the more it evolves, then you will find out those cultural ingredients that may be specific to one person and not to another.